So now we've got total area as a plugin, and we've got count as a plugin. The final one of the plugins that's part of this data field sequence of plugins is formula. And formula is really where the power of all this comes together. So here on this table, I have a series of counts that we've put into the table that are counting the number of light fittings that occur throughout the model. I've got an area field that's the total area of the ground floor and garage of the building, giving me the total building area. And now I'm going to use formula to tally up how many light fittings we've got, to be able to multiply the light fittings by the wattage and giving the total wattage of each of the different types of light fitting. Then I can actually use a formula to take my total wattage altogether and work out that as a percentage of our building area, so that we have how many watts per square meter of the building we are actually delivering their lighting load at. So obviously formulas can be used in so many different ways. And if you've got dynamic counts and areas that are and figures that you can actually utilize, pull them together and then do whatever formula you like on it and have the results update as you then update those figures within the model. You can imagine how powerful this can all become for you. Once you've set it up, you can save it off as a set, and providing you use the same names, the same symbols, things that are coming together, you can then just pop that into a new model, into a new building, and have it report all of that information back again, not having to re-establish those formulas, but away you go. Very, very powerful. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how many different ways you guys can find out how to use this stuff. But right now, I'm going to just step you through the new formula tool. Very similar sort of format to the other data fields. We have the format of up the top here, the active part of the formula, and then we have the formatting with a prefix, suffix, and a precision. Here we can have precision of down to multiple decimal places, and then just a small example what's left. Now, what has to happen for us to be able to pull this data together to use it in a formula is that the data has to be given an ID. So in this case, what we want to do is give an ID to all of these items, and what we're going to do is prefix it with an L, so it's unique. In this case, we're using L because it's lighting. And then we're going to just simply go select and select the items that you want to apply an ID to. As we zip down here, that's all our light fixtures. And in this case, what we've got is it's ID'd them all as L1 through to 9, which are these, simply putting a plus between them. That's just the default way that the sum's done. Because we've got a heading already in our table, we actually don't want a prefix or a suffix. We just want the straight raw number. And then we just go insert. Puts the formula in using the current text format. And then we can go close. It runs the formula and gives us the total. Not quite in the right spot. We're just going to nudge that into the right spot there. What's actually happened there is that each of these numbers were added a tag, which is called an F tag, formula tag, which is given the ID. Whenever there's an ID given, when we call it up in the tool, it's put between that less than and greater than sign as the symbol. We then utilize that into the formula. So if we wanted to actually see what's going on, we can hit show. That shows you L1, L2, L3, L4, and so on down the sequence. And then down the bottom, it shows us L10 is what's been assigned here and the formula that's given. if we go select and simply select the one item, L10 then comes up with L10 equals and the formula that's given. You can edit that and then hit apply, reapply it to the text item, and that formula will be updated. So now if we were wanting to utilize a number which is in some text, like in this case, providing there is only one number within that text, then it can extract that number out. If you had something like 32m2, meaning m squared, you would then have two numbers in your text, and what it would do is extract those numbers out, but wouldn't be correct because it would give you 322. So in this case, we've simply got 32 watts, so we can actually utilize that, and we're going to create a formula utilizing selecting this item and this item. Now what it's done is it's gone L1. I didn't give it a unique ID here. It's actually called that A01, which is fine in this case, but if I was setting this up, I wouldn't want to use A01 just because it's default. I would actually change that and set it up to say W or Watt 01, something like that. So I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but we're going to first of all just utilize it the way it is. And what we're wanting to do is, instead of plus them, we're wanting to multiply it. So this is just like a formula that you would put into a spreadsheet table, and instead of column L line 01, we've just named this particular number here so that it can identify the number. Then we're multiplying it by the second one that has been identified, and we're going to insert. We're going to put our result at this end of the table. Here we're going to close. And of course, 2 times 32 equals 34. And if we were to add an extra one of these light fittings, or an extra 2 of those, we can then come down, hit update. Our count is updated. 32 watts remains the same, and now we have the new updated wattage. Let's take those stray lights out, do an update, and similarly, if we decided that this light fitting was no longer 32 watts, we can just do a text edit and say that it's a 48 watt light, and do an update. It's extracting that 48 out of that text there, and updates our calculation. As I said, we accidentally called this A01, and we might want to change that. So all we have to do is select change tag. Up comes the F tag as A01, and we're going to call that W01. Now, if we do an update, of course, that's going to create an error here because our formula is not calling W01, it's calling A01 that no longer exists. Down on our command line, it's saying error A01 not found. So if we wanted to have a look more broadly what's going on, we can do the show, and it shows us the different things that are going on, and it shows us the formula over here. You can see this is where our problem is. I can go select that item, comes back up here, and now tells me that A02, which is our answer, is L01 times W01, which is what we want. And what we do is apply to reapply that back to that item, and the formula reruns now correctly. So through the magic of video editing, I've now just laid out all of these answers, A1 through to A8, and simply they're exactly the same as what I did here in this first line, just L5 multiplied by W5, and that gives us the answer 5. The next step to laying this out is I'm going to now tally up our total wattage. So I'm going to go select, and again, just simply come down, select each of the values that I want to tally into a total. Nice simple one. It's just all the pluses. Insert, I can place that. So what I've now got is a series of sums, including A9 being the adding up of all of A1 to A8, which is these items down through here that have been calculated by multiplying the number of fixtures and the wattage brought across, gets a total value. Now what I'm wanting to do is use A9 and A10 being the area of the building, and I'm going to then go total of watts. Now, because I've only selected one item there, it's brought in A9 and its formula, assuming that I'm wanting to actually edit the formula on A9, which isn't actually the case. So all I'm going to do is disappear the formula out of there, and I can go select A10. And what I'm wanting to do is A9 divided by A10 equals now a new result. So, but I want to actually go to 2 decimal places, and we're going to then go insert my final text here. This building has a total of 3.28 watts per square meter based on the current number of light fittings that we have in there. Nice green building. Add a few extra items into your drawing, do an update, and all the math's done for you just on instantly. Again, I hope this will just be a tool that opens up a whole doorway of opportunities for you to quickly adjust and utilize that data that's actually in your models in a way that is just really powerful and saves you a whole heap of time pulling out calculators, counting items, getting things wrong. This just keeps it all in line for you, does the maths behind the scenes. Trust that you'll dream a little, come up with some great maths, and show me what you can come up with. Looking forward to seeing it.